crafting journey here, that journey chick on Instagram. Welcome. It is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Tonight I will be doing Craft with Me Wednesday. I have absolutely no plans. I'm going to figure it out and then I'll let you know. But that's at 6 p.m. Central, so tune in for that. Also, was working on this yesterday. I've been working from home yesterday, today working from home. But I actually finished this section here, except for one color that I want to put the ABs in, which I did order from diamondpaintingdrills.com. It's a 727, so I'm waiting for that to make the starry, yellowy night just a little bit more bling. So now I'm working into Alice's hair, and my goal is to finish this week. You know, other than cooking and Thanksgiving and all that good stuff, I'm going to be diamond painting. Once I get this done, then I can focus on my crochet projects, you know, the Christmas gifts and all that stuff. Yes. Okay. It is a crazy busy time of year. Just crazy busy. So even this morning has been crazy busy. So we are on verdict watch in the Ahmad Arbery case. Yesterday, the defense finished, the prosecution finished their closing arguments. The jury deliberated all day long. The judge comes back at 6 p.m. their time, 6 p.m. Eastern time over in Georgia, comes back and says he's going to get the jury foreperson in and see where they're at and whether they want to break for the night or if they're close to a verdict, do they want to keep deliberating? So the judge brings in the foreperson, a woman, because we hear from her voice that it's a woman, or a man with a very female, feminine voice. So he asked her, do you guys want to keep deliberating tonight? Are you close to a verdict? And he cautions her, don't tell me, you know, anything that's going on there, but if you're close, you can keep deliberating, or I can send you home for the night and you can come back tomorrow and start deliberating. She's like, oh no, we'd like to go home. So she sent the judge, the bailiff takes her back to the room, and then the bailiff comes back and says, apparently they don't agree with her. They want to stay and keep deliberating. So he says, okay, we're in recess. We'll let them stay. So now we're all thinking, oh, they must be pretty close to a verdict. So, and then about 30 minutes later, not even 30 minutes later, the bailiff comes back and says, nah, they changed their mind. They want to go home. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so he said, okay. And he sent them home with all the, you know, precautionary tales. He sends them home. And then they come back this morning and start deliberating fairly early. So now it's been about 6.5 hours of total of deliberation. Now I do have my verdict watch thumbnail up. I will keep moving it as they deliberate. I have it set for 11 a.m. If it gets close to 11 a.m. and they're still deliberating, I'm just going to move that time. So it'll be a pop-up live. I will be able to just go in to StreamYard, go live, and it'll pop up on your notification. So don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get that notification. I'll go live and we'll watch the verdict today. So this morning they were deliberating for some small period of time, and they came back with not really a question but a request. They wanted to watch the shortened version of the video that Roddy Bryant took, that starting from the point where he picks up his camera and starts filming at that dog leg. They wanted to see that 3 times. Then they wanted to see the enhanced version of that video 3 times. They also wanted to hear the 911 call made by Greg Bryant. So he brings them in, they listen to all that, they see the video 3 times, and they have been sent back to continue their deliberations. So that is where we are at. Now, I have a community post. Let's take a look and see where we're at on the community post. How do you guys feel about this case. Let's take a look. All right, so far we have 95% of the people feel that they are guilty, 3% say not guilty, that it was self-defense, and 3% are going with hung jury. Okay, if you haven't voted, run over there and vote. It's on the community tab, or it's on my page under the community tab. You won't see it under the videos. You have to look for the tab, community, and then you'll see it. That's just like a broad brush, you know, guilty, not guilty. Clearly, there are 3 different verdict forms, 1 form for each defendant. So the verdicts could be very different depending on the defendant and the degree to which the jury feels they were acting in concert, or whether each one committed a certain felony. Yeah, so that's where we're at. But I have a really good story for you today, a death row story. Yeah, another one. Really interesting. Okay, let's do the planner. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. He works very, very hard. Today, I think what I'm going to have him do is organize my yarn. Yeah, I have to take the cats out of here, but the like button can handle it. Yeah. So don't forget to hit the like button on your way in or out, and subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, or somehow you got unsubscribed, which happens sometimes, YouTube will unsubscribe you. Don't know why, but make sure you're subscribed and you ring the notification bell for the reasons that we talked about earlier. All right, let's go to our planner. This is this week's Thanksgiving planner. Yep. Who's excited for tomorrow? Turkey, pie, sweet potatoes, green bean casserole, corn souffle. What else are we having? Stuffing with mushrooms. Oh, yum. Oh my God. I'm going to have some coffee. My cow mug, my udder mug. All right. Today is National Tie One On Day, and it's totally not what you're thinking, but we'll talk about that. Tie one on, and we're going to talk about D.B. Cooper in this day in history. I am sure you all know who D.B. Cooper is. So last night we went to Golden Corral. Now, some of the food I enjoyed, some, nah, it was kind of hit or miss. I tried the steak. That was okay. It wasn't bad. I haven't had a steak in forever. And just that flavor when I took that first bite was so yummy. By the 4th or 5th bite, I was like, you know, yeah, a little chewy. But the yeast rolls that they have there, I go there just for the yeast rolls. They're amazing. Yeah. If they ever get rid of the yeast rolls, I ain't going there no more. But Joann's is right across the street. Like, not even a street. It's just in the same parking lot. So I didn't even have to get in my car. I just kind of walked over there, and some stuff fell into my cart. Yes. So what fell into my cart? Oh, yes. So I was going down the clearance section, and they were just putting in a bunch of yarn into the clearance section. I'm like, oh, I'll wait while you stock it up. So here's what I grabbed. What? Yes. 3 skeins of Red Heart Soft Essentials. Oh my word. It is super soft. Much softer than the regular Red Heart. And it's in Misty Rose color. So it didn't have a price on it. So I'm saying to the lady, are you sure it's clearance? And she's like, yeah, it'll ring up at the register. $2 a skein. Nice. Yeah. This is a 5 bulky, so not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I love yarn. You know me. Yes. Okay, so that's that. Let's put that over here. Because, yeah, some other stuff fell into the cart, too. Yeah, just going to say. This was on sale. big twist, which they used to call it something else, but it's a super, really super soft version, 100% acrylic. And it's in this color, Heather, which I really, really like. It's like a dark, dark blue. And this is a 4 weight. So I got 2 skeins of that because each one of these is 380 yards. This one is, it is 131 yards each. Okay. Not done. Yeah. And this one was not on sale, but you do, if you use your coupon, you can get 40% off one regular priced item. So one of these was 40% off. Now this is the, oh, it feels luscious. It's got that, look at the halo on that. I don't know if you guys can see the halo, you know, that soft fuzz that comes up on the yarn. It's a color teal and it's red heart, Hygge. I don't know why they call it that. So it is a 5 weight, 70% acrylic, 30% nylon, but it is amazingly soft. I don't know what. I will figure out something. My friend this morning, Mickey, is sending me a pattern. So maybe this for the pattern. Maybe. Okay, look, here we got yarn. We got yarn. Yay. Okay, let's put it all back in. But, you know, I did not leave empty-handed. So they have this thing right now. If you take your picture in front of a gnome, their gnome display, and put it on Instagram. So I did that. I took my picture, you know, in front of the 50% off sign. 50% off for the gnomes. But I did not purchase one. I'm like, nah, not going to buy it. I already have, you know, Jorge here, or Jorge, as I like to fondly refer to him as. So I get up to the register, and behind the register, there's one of those gnomes. And I'm like, why is that gnome there? And she's like, oh, somebody took took part of it off. And I'm like, well, I'll buy it, you know, if I can get a little bit of a discount. It's already 50% off. So it was marked at $29.99. So it's already $15. I said, if you ask the manager, tell her I'll give her $10 for it. So she comes back, she says, the manager says you can have 25% off whatever the discounted price is. So it ended up costing me like $11, something like that. So here it is. Oh my God, are you ready? Look, it's an Advent gnome. Oh my God. So we start at day 25. So the part that was missing was this little string with a candy cane hanging off that you put, each one of these has a little pocket, and you will put the candy cane in the pocket. So I have a plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of those Miss Maker stickers, and I'm going to put it on some cardboard and make a little cutout of, and then we're going to put Miss Maker into each one as the days go by. Now, there are 31 days till Christmas, so we don't need to start this quite yet. No, we don't. No. Okay. But when it gets to day 25, we can do our countdown to Christmas, which is all the way up here on the pom-pom. Yeah. How cute is this gnome? Okay. So he's going to come over here, and he's going to join Jorge. Whoop, right there. Okay. So that was my Joann's shopping spree. Oh, here's the poll again on Law and Crime. So 71% of the people on Law and Crime feel like there'll be a guilty verdict. 21% are saying not guilty, and where'd it go? 8% are saying hung jury. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story about Darlie Routier. This is a woman who was living in this posh suburb of Dallas, Texas. As soon as I have another sip of coffee. She marries her high school sweetheart. They are living very happily. He's earning a lot of money. He's making circuit boards for computers, and he started his own company. He's doing very well. They live in a $130,000 home, which back in the 70s, that's a pretty darn good home. So in addition to this home, they also have a 30-foot cabin cruiser and a used Jaguar. So they're doing okay. They've got 3 little boys. Devin is 2 years old. Damon is 4 years old. And she has like an infant. I forget his name. Darren, maybe? Darren. They all have the name. They all start with D's. I have to fix this desk. It's got like this. Look. Yeah. I gotta fix it. Anyway. So here's what happens. She goes to bed one night, or she's watching TV with the boys one night. Devin and Damon. She's watching TV, and they all fall asleep downstairs. Now her husband is upstairs, and so is the infant is upstairs. She wakes up and she's screaming, and she calls 911, and she's like blood curdly screaming, you know, that a man just came in and stabbed me and my boys. If you heard, I listened to this 911 tape. It is just so hard to hear because she is just hysterical. And there's no way anybody could fake the hysterical nature of this call. They're dying. Get over here quickly. And now her husband wakes up because he hears her screaming. He comes downstairs. It's a bloody mess. He goes to the younger boy. He sees that he's been stabbed. He's trying to save his life. He's trying to do CPR. He's blowing air into his mouth. It's just coming right out of his lung, and he's already dead. So now she's pleading with the little boy, hang on, you know, where are the police? And the dispatcher's telling her, don't touch anything, you know, they're on the way, don't touch anything. She's like, I already went over and picked up a bloody knife. What? Yeah, you know, I chased after the white male. She said she saw him. She chased after him, and he dropped a knife, which she picked up. So strange. Anyway, a butcher knife from the kitchen. So they never find this white male. So now they're interviewing the parents. The little boy, Devin was already dead. Damon dies shortly after he gets to the hospital. So they're both dead. So she's at the hospital, and they realize, oh my God, she is stabbed too. She has a laceration that goes from here all the way up to here. Like, they're calling it 9 centimeters. I don't know. Is that 9 centimeters? I don't know. It seemed like a yard, but 9 centimeter laceration. And they're like, oh my God. So they're rushing her into surgery because they think, oh my God, maybe she hit an artery or something. You know, the carotid, it comes like millimeters from the carotid, which is right here. So they rush her into surgery. She also has a stab wound on her left shoulder and one on her right forearm, the back of her right forearm and her left shoulder. Crazy. So she almost dies. They rush her into surgery. She almost dies. So nonetheless, they're able to take care of her. She recovers. She gets out of the hospital a couple days later, and the police haul her down to the station. And they're like, we need to talk to you. She never left the station. She has been in jail ever since. They arrested her. They said, we don't believe that there was a white male. We think it was you. What? Because what you're telling us does not fit with the evidence. Now, when the police arrived at this house, they found out in the garage, there was a cut screen. There was some broken glass somewhere in the house. I forget where it was. Some broken glass. But they find her blood underneath the glass. Very strange. But they're just saying that also where that screen is cut, I've seen this window. You can get in and out of this window very easily once you cut the screen. They're saying that nothing was disturbed. There was no mulch disturbed. There was no footprints, that, nothing to make it seem like he got out this way. Well, if you look at this window, there's a thing of cement right outside the window. The mulch is like way far away from this window. They make it sound like, oh, there's a garden bed right outside the window, but there's not. It wasn't anywhere close. So then, 7 days after, I'm sorry, she didn't go to jail then, but they take her down for questioning. She doesn't get arrested shortly thereafter, but they have this birthday. They decide they're going to have this birthday party for Devin. He liked silly string, so and it's caught on camera by a news network, and they're showing her laughing, and she's, they're singing happy birthday to Devin, and they're shooting silly string, and they're all having a good time. And everybody that watches this is just horrified, including the jury at her trial. They're like, what kind of mother acts that way 7 days after their child is murdered? What you don't see is that 2 hours before this birthday party, they have a memorial for the boy where she's just horribly broken up. The silly string was brought to this birthday party by her sister to try to cheer her sister up. She just thought it was a good idea. It would put everybody in a good mood after this somber memorial. The jury never gets to see that there was this somber memorial right before this happy birthday party. Really, really terrible. So they vet the husband. They kind of rule him out. They find out that there's these $5,000 insurance policies on both of the boys. They claim that the family was now having financial problems. But technically, the $5,000 won't even pay for a funeral, but so $10,000 worth of life insurance, that's nothing to kill your children over. The other thing to remember about this case is this is a time, like almost a year to the day after the Susan Smith incident. And this is in Texas. Susan Smith was in Texas. As you recall, Susan Smith is reported her 2 boys missing, and for 9 days claimed she doesn't know what happened to them. And then all of a sudden she admits that she had driven them into a lake and drowned them. So now the public is very aware that mothers kill their children. So they're thinking, this mother killed her children. What the jury never hears is that the father had a $250,000 life insurance policy on Darlie. So he had plenty of motive to commit this murder. He failed a lie detector test. None of that comes in. So I don't know. But they didn't focus on him as a suspect. There is a bloody handprint that was found at the scene that is never identified. They don't run DNA on it to find out, is this one of the boys? Is this her? We don't know who, whose it is. And DNA was not to the point where it is today from back then. So it just wasn't a common thing. What was common was blood splatter evidence. We don't use blood splatter evidence anymore because it's too subjective. It doesn't come into court anymore. But at that point, they brought in a blood splatter expert, and he showed her shirt, and he had all these conjectures that this knife wound to this kid would have created this splatter, and therefore she did it. So the jury is quite enamored with this blood splatter expert and this silly string video. Between the two, they convict her of murdering her 2 boys, and she gets the death penalty. This woman has been sitting on death row for 24 years. Now, here's a piece of evidence that also never comes into the trial. There is a sock, a bloody sock, that has both Devin's blood on it and Damon's blood on it. And it is found 75 yards away from the crime scene, near this drain in an alley. Now, this is a huge problem for the prosecution. So they really don't want to mention it. And it doesn't get mentioned. Like, the jury doesn't even remember a bloody sock. But in order for her to have staged this crime scene and self-inflict these wounds, as was claimed during this trial, she would have had to murder her boys, take this bloody sock, run 75 yards down, plant it, come 75 yards back, which now that's like the length of a football field. And it would have taken her some time. Then she would have had to go in and inflict all of her own wounds and then call 911. Well, what they're saying is by the time those boys, at least one of them, based on his injuries, he would have only lived for about 9 minutes. So she had a 9-minute window to do all of this stuff, run 75 yards down, 75 yards back, self-inflict all these wounds, stage all this evidence, and then call 911 and spend 5 minutes on the phone with 911. No. But this never came out at the trial. So she has been sitting on death row, like I said, for 24 years. Now, I tried very hard to get the latest on this, and the latest thing is that they have postponed carrying out her death sentence pending an order of the court to run DNA on this bloody handprint. So we are still waiting for this bloody handprint DNA to come back since 2018, when the judge ordered it. At one point, she even had to have the bodies of her sons exhumed because the coroner took footprints of her children but never took fingerprints because they wanted to see if this handprint belonged to one of her children. By the time they exhumed those bodies, there was no way they were going to get fingerprints off of these boys. They were both buried in the same casket. That it just wasn't going to happen. So that was not a way to get her exonerated. Also, a neighbor had reported during the same time frame that she saw a suspicious black vehicle in the neighborhood. That really was not investigated. So as we sit here today, Darlie Routier is still sitting in jail in Texas on death row, waiting to be exonerated, still to this day. She was offered, in exchange for life in prison, just tell us that you committed these murders and we will commute your sentence to life in prison. She's like, nope, I didn't commit these murders. I did not kill my sons. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful testimony, or conviction, I would say. So there are so many people on death row that did not commit these crimes. These prosecutors are they're so gung-ho to get these convictions that a lot of evidence is overlooked. Then you face these inexperienced lawyers. Now, she actually had a very experienced lawyer who had a conflict because he was also representing her husband. There had been a gag order in the case, and he went on some kind of talk show and ran his mouth, so he got charged with violating this gag order. So he hires this lawyer who says, oh yeah, I'll represent your wife too. The family mortgages everything they have and hires this guy for $250,000, and he still does a lousy job. What? Yeah. The money runs out. Then he tells the family, if you ever do a movie rights or book rights or anything, the proceeds go to me. Nice lawyer, right? So now there is an appellate lawyer that is trying to help out Darlie Routier getting this bloody DNA evidence to see whose handprint this is. because it's not anybody that they know. It's not anybody known. It's not her. It's not her husband. So whose is it? Yeah, we need to find out. We're waiting. Okay, so more. Well, if I ever hear what happens with this DNA, I will let you know. Meanwhile, she's still sitting in Texas. Her son, the one that was an infant at the time, is fully grown. He's in his 20s. He was diagnosed with ALS, which is a form of cancer. He does visit his mom. He thinks his mom is innocent. They have a relationship. He's never been able to touch his mom because they're not allowed to touch each other, but he does visit his mom. It's terrible. She would like to have helped him through this. He's in remission, but how horrible. What a life for her. What a terrible life for her. Her husband divorced her. He's moved on. What else could he do? She's been there for 24 years. He moved on with his life. Okay, let's talk about this day in history. I'm going to get a sip of coffee. Now, my sister just took off. I'm hoping it's a donut run. Yes, that would be fantastic. Maybe not. She asked me, have you had breakfast? And I said, no. And then she took off. I'm like, donuts. Probably not. Anyway, D.B. Cooper, in 1971, he hijacks a plane. He gets on this plane, and he gives the stewardess a note, and he tells her, I want $200,000, 4 parachutes, and no funny business. So she passes this along to the powers that be. They land at SeaTac, Seattle, Tacoma, Washington Airport. They hand him the $200,000, the 4 parachutes. He unloads most of the passengers from the plane. They take off again. He tells the pilot, let's go to Mexico. I want you to fly at a low altitude towards Mexico. So they start heading that way. And this man jumps out of the plane with his $200,000 into a horrendous rainstorm, 100-mile-an-hour winds up at the altitude where he was, below zero temperature. He's just got regular clothes on, wraparound sunglasses, and the parachute. Yeah. They never find him. Never find the guy. They were delayed on ground looking for him because this was such a horrendous rainstorm. They had to wait till that all cleared up before they could even start looking for him. And but he jumped near a river. There is a little boy who found some money. Let me just tell you about. Hold on. Oh, I hear my kitty. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy uncovered a stack of nearly $5,880 of the ransom money, and this was on the north bank of the Columbia River, 5 miles from Vancouver, Washington. But no one knows what happened to D.B. Cooper. They don't know if he died from this so-called suicide jump, which it probably would have killed most people. Some people have come forward, claimed to be D.B. Cooper. Nah. It's a huge mystery. Interesting mystery, though. Anyway, so this day in history, November 24th, 1971, he jumps out of the plane. Yep. Got his money, got his parachute. I'm going for it. Crazy. Anyway, that's the show for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. The like button is doing a fabulous job with the yarn. Well, maybe not so fabulous. Okay, we'll deal with that later. Hit the like button. And don't forget the notification bell because we're on Verdict Watch. Ooh. All right. Love you all.